Tyson!
Welcome,
What's
ladies
up,
and
man?
gentlemen, to episode number 147 of Nick, Tys and
147.
Videotape. You
How's
excited
it
to
going,
be here, Nick?
peeps? I definitely am. I even had a shower.
Oh, wow. That's a step up in these crazy lockdown times.
Yeah, man.
Only
Yeah,
shower
you
when
gotta
necessary.
Save water.
Save
You know.
water and, just let that natural aroma just do its thing. I mean, if you ever want to find out
Jesus.
how you smell, like, naturally without anything, now's the time to do it. Are you
Now's
one of
the
those
time
people?
to give it a crack. I am definitely not. I have an array of colognes.
But this is it. You
I
can
have an
discover.
array, so that no one knows my scent.
No,
Yeah.
your natural scent will never be
My
discovered.
natural scent. No, never.
Well, we're excited that
yeah.
nobody can smell us here at Nick Tys and Videotape because we are doing this, not even you and I, Nick, because we are, of course, doing this over remote.
That's true.
Victoria
Skype delicious 'cause we
has
are-
gotten pretty crazy.
A little lockdownish. A little, it was kind of Jesus Christ, inevitable.
Yes, it was. We had the kind of initial phase, and now we've gone into the full-on.
Exactly.
That's it. We've got a curfew. You can leave your house once a day, and only one person from your household, and stay
and
the
to do
fucking
shopping
side.
or exercise, and that is it.
Yeah, exactly.
Lockdown, ladies and gentlemen.
So-
Read a book, watch a movie, talk to loved ones,
Yeah.
exercise in the home,
Do it,
or
yeah.
draw a picture.
Do you know what
There
I
are
did the
tons
other
of
day,
things
Nick?
you can do. What did you do,
looked up a
Tyson?
Tybo video on YouTube.
Good
And I
Lord,
I
Tybo.
just had a jamming workout
crack?
with Billy Blanks.
Nice.
You don't need
I like
anything
it.
else in your life.
Please, absolutely not. Maybe some Oz Fit. Remember that? Was it
Aerobics
Oz
Oz
Fit?
style.
Aerobic Oz style? God damn, man, that got me through the 90s.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
classic.
I was waiting for it to finish so I could watch fucking X-Men.
Yeah. That is 100% correct. It was like, when is this going to stop so cartoons
When
can
is
come
this
on?
going to stop? Why it is what are you meant to follow this? Like, is it a...
I want to watch my cartoons.
Weird.
But
hurry
yes,
up.
we're excited today to be talking about. It's been a couple of weeks off, and it's because in amongst all this, I have been moving house, so we had to take a week off. But I'm in my
That's
new
true.
digs. Very
Yep.
excited, and we can get back into the swing of things by talking today, Nick, about 2009's
9?
District 9.
District 9. That can't be right. 2009's District 9. That can't be right.
I know,
Really?
it seems too convenient,
I
doesn't
love it. I love it. A bit too convenient.
We've been on a bit of a
Let's-
sci-fi kick, though, Nick, in case you've a sci-fi
We have,
kick,
haven't
Nick.
we? Sci-fi kick, Nick.
It is
It was 2009, District 9. Yeah, District
There you
9. That's hilarious. Yeah, I like our sci-fi kick, but I love sci-fi. Any form of sci-fi, man.
Yeah, me too. And this was I hadn't watched this for a while. This is one of the first Blu-rays I bought, and I watched it a lot
really?
when I first got a Blu-ray player, but it's been a little
Yeah.
while. It was really fun to watch it again. I would say that.
Nice.
Before we do any
Yeah.
of that, though, Nick, tell the people at
Tyson?
home where they can find our show.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are all lovely, safe, sound, and healthy. Hope you're healthy. Hope you're remembering your mask. Put your mask on properly.
That's
Make
it.
sure it covers your nose.
Just wear a fucking
If it's
mask.
not,
It's not
exactly.
that
if it's
hard.
not covering, if it's not covering your nose, I love this analogy. If it's not covering your nose, it's like putting condom on your balls. When I heard that, I fucking laughed so hard.
That is
and
definitely
ran to my
a
wife.
visual picture that has been drawn for me that I will never, ever forget.
But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to us. If you are locked down, I hope you're safe and lovely. If this is your first time listening to us, if you're overseas and things are a little bit more hectic than we are in Australia, hope you are safe and sound. Other than that, please, if you like what you hear, and we are getting you through some hard times, please like, subscribe, rate, review, all of those things, so you can keep up to date with Nick Tys and Videotape. Even go back through our back catalogue if you see a movie title that we've done before, and you can look that up and see what we said. I would suggest looking up what was the one? What was the two-piece feed? What was the movie?
Reindeer Games.
Reindeer Games.
How we managed to create a
Okay.
whole skit around a two-piece feed. And it's created some comedy gold, so get in there.
Comedy gold, man. Seriously, I've never laughed so hard in my life. Being really honest.
No, that's fair.
Other than that, jump on all the social medias. We're on
Just
Facebook,
to interrupt, I think my
Instagram.
favorite
please,
skit
yeah.
that we spent a bit of time on was the
Go on.
the local karate guy, the guy that goes to local karate competitions when we did Karate Kid, who carries
did Karate Kid.
who carries around a 6-pack of beer and just rolls up to local karate competitions.
Oh yes, I remember
I
that.
think he was one of my
that was
favorite
funny.
characters.
That was so good. Jesus Christ! I need to listen to Karate Kid. That was gold.
That was a good episode.
Other than that, jump on all the social medias. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We've got an email address, which is nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com if you wish to write us some correspondence. Other than that, Tyson and myself are big fans of the Letterboxd app. So if you don't know what that is, download it. It's a great little app which lets you kind of categorize, make some lists, look at what movies came out, what year for movies and things like that. And then you can follow your friends or follow whoever you like. I know, Tyson, you follow some reviewers, do you?
Yeah, I've got a couple of the review guys that I really like who I follow, and a few local, a few mates, and a couple of people whose podcast I listen to who would have no idea who I am, who when I've followed them have followed me back, which is really nice.
Nice.
So it's a good little way to build a community, and I think there are some if you comment on everybody's reviews and things like that, you obviously build up a much better, much more of a following and a community vibe, and it's like what we do basically in this podcast, but just in an online form. And it seems to me most of the time you can avoid the bullshit, which I find quite lovely.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if there's obnoxious wankers, you just don't follow them, and it's fine. You just don't see their shit, which is fantastic. And you don't see it's not like an array of comments like YouTube where you're just like, you don't even look at the comments on YouTube ever. Look, you can get stuck down a dark hole when you select reviews by lowest rated first, and especially when it's movies you love and hearing pretentious wankers shit on them. That can be a little off-putting, but just don't. For your own sanity, don't do that.
Exactly. But in saying that, though, there are some cracker reviews.
Oh, yeah,
like
fantastic
some one-liners that I'm like, I've laughed so hard. They've been so good. But yeah, jump on Letterboxd. You can follow Tys as TYS_videotape, and I am Nick, NIC_videotape.
That's it. Nick, shall we talk some trailers?
Oh, yeah, let's talk some trailers. What are we talking? We're talking Kill... What is it?
Well, I'm going to put the theme song in first.
Let's put the theme song first. Oh, Jesus. It's been a while.
Everybody's talking trailers.
All right.
So, Nick, yes, we are talking about a movie that at first we thought, because we saw that it mentioned the name Kevin Smith. And we thought to ourselves, well, it's probably produced by Kevin Smith or something like that. They're just doing that thing where they're throwing his name on it. But no, this is directed by Kevin Smith.
Oh, yeah.
And the movie is called what, Nick?
Kilroy?
Kilroy Was Here.
Oh, Kilroy Was Here. Is that the title?
It is the title.
Blind the eyes that cannot see, make deaf the ears that cannot hear, close the mouth that cannot tell, and send the monster back to hell.
Back then his name was Roy Huggins. When he was your age, he already had a taste for blood.
Holy shit.
What is happening?
Nothing will stop Kilroy if he wants to get you.
Oh, God!
Whoa, you almost gave me a heart attack. I'm a middle-aged man who eats like shit and huffs floor cleaner all day.
This is Alicio and Ernesto.
Hola, amigos. Me llamo Father Pat. Come on out.
The online donations have put us over the top.
It's going to take a lot more money for that heart transplant.
Kid killing boogeyman, that is just some superstitious bullshit.
Look out! I'll make my special sweet tea.
You gonna come smoke?
Yes! You see that? The gator chaser did it again! No! Help! Get the shit!
Kathy, I'm coming to Kilroy!
Better get the mob.
All right, so here we are, Nick. Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith.
Doing his thing where he is, directing movies of maybe questionable quality.
This is very questionable. I was at the end of this. I was like, "What the fuck just happened?"
So it is an anthology movie, which is I think it kind of explains some of the kind of disconnection to the trailer, because I did the same thing. I was watching it and I was kind of like, I can't quite tell what the fuck's going on in this.
Yeah,
and then did read that yes, it is an anthology. So it obviously the trailer is not well put together because it does not tell you that and expects you to just try and see this various amount of like strange imagery and try and piece together something in your head. So I would say thumbs down to the trailer editors of this one. I don't think they've done a top job at all on this.
Massively
which,
down.
I don't like to... We like to call out when trailers are really good, so I feel like it's only fair if we occasionally call out a trailer that is not put together too well.
I feel like we've only done that like 3 times in this whole show.
Exactly. But when you give me a trailer like that and I have to go on the internet to find out that it's an anthology, that's not my fault.
You're not doing your job. You're not doing
exactly.
You failed. You had one job.
Now, Nick, we just did our top 10 of 2014, and you had one of Kevin Smith's more recent films on your list.
I did. It was Tusk, and I can't speak highly enough of Tusk, which is where, like, I watched this trailer. I was like, well, it could be good. It could be. Maybe they're not showing. Like, there are some trailers, Tyson, that kind of can't wrap up a nice little 1 minute, spiel of what you're about to see or what you're going to see or what you want to see, sort of thing. This wasn't that. This was a collection of random images with no through line whatsoever. The Kilroy idea was kind of trying to connect it all, but a little bit, but
not really.
It was really strange. Whereas Tusk, on the other hand, if you watch the trailer for that, you're either in or you're out. It's one of those trailers, which is what a trailer needs to do.
Yeah, well, you're making a movie about a guy slowly turning into a walrus or being surgically turned into a walrus, then. I mean, that's either your cup of tea or it's not. I don't think there's any middle ground on
that. And how is that not anyone's cup of tea? I mean, come on.
I don't want to know the guy that sits there and goes, nah, that's not for me.
Exactly.
Have you seen much else of Kevin Smith's recent kind of, when he's gone real cheap and, that sounds
cheap and nasty.
Fancy, but,
cheap and nasty.
Yeah, but let's say low budget and experimental. Let's say it that way.
I haven't, no. If you're talking,
Yoga Hosiers?
No.
I think the last Kevin Smith I saw was, Clerks 2? Or maybe even Red State. I saw Red State.
Okay. You didn't do last year's Jay and Silent Bob reboot?
Well, I don't think we're able to see it yet. I don't think it's come out here.
Okay.
Because I would watch it. I am an apologist for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Right.
I don't think it's good by any stretch, but I think there are some really funny moments in it, and it's
absolutely
you can have a good time with it.
Very 2001.
Oh my god, that is one of the most 2001 movies that ever existed.
But I watched Dogma so many times when it came out. I was a big fan of Dogma.
Oh, you can. Sorry, just interrupt. You can rent Jay and Silent Bob reboot, so I'm going to do that soon.
There you go.
Yes, Dogma. Yeah, Dogma's a good one.
Dogma was massive for me. Mallrats also as well. I've only watched Chasing Amy once, and yeah, that's kind of about it.
Yeah, I was really entrenched in the Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy kind of that trilogy, if you will. The beginning, the trashy teen comedy, and then the more serious kind of, but still all feeling like Kevin Smith movies. I watched those hundreds of times as a teenager. So
yeah.
But since then, I've kind of gone off him a little bit, to be honest. I liked Red State, but I'll never watch it again, I don't think.
I own Red State, I think.
I see it cheap everywhere, and I always think...
Someone gave it to me when it first came out. I was like, oh, nice, thank you.
That's what I mean. I could pick it up for $3, but I'm like, we're going to watch it. That's what
exactly.
So,
exactly.
Who knows?
And no one's watching Cop Out, that's for damn sure.
Oh, I forgot about Cop Out. I've never seen it.
You've never seen it? Well, no one should see it. It looks bad.
It does look really terrible. All the reputations... All its reputation leads me to believe it's garbage.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would. I don't know if this is whatever Kevin Smith's doing, he's making movies that he wants to make, and we can't argue with that. He's doing it within his own means, because I don't think he's any longer supported by big studios or anything. So
no, I think he's on his own. Yeah.
So I kind of admire that part of it, that he's getting movies made, however, and they're the movies he wants to make. So we know that we're getting pure Kevin Smith, because there's no studio head going, cut it down, trim this, put this in.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Can you get someone? Can you get this person? Can you get that person? And that's kind of watching. Oh, bless you. In watching Kilroy, the trailer. Kilroy was here. The trailer. You can kind of get a sense that it had a bit of a Sharknado feel. Like it was like kind of slapping these people just together and seeing what sticks to the wall. And I was like, oh, we've kind of this is not great. We're kind of
Yeah, I would be disappointed if he went down that route and it was more a deliberately badly produced film, which those Sharknado movies are. They know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to make them bad for bad sake. Yeah. I can't imagine Kevin Smith ever setting out to make a bad movie. That just doesn't sound like him at all.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like he's so passionate about it. He loves what he does.
Yeah, he's not going to do one on purpose, but that's not to say that this won't be just like
he may
Sharknado,
stumble upon that accidentally.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like the fact that you've got Chris Jericho rocking up in your like, I love Chris Jericho as much as the
excuse
next
my ignorance,
fan,
but which was the one that who was the one that died? I thought that was Chris Jericho.
No, that was Chris Benoit.
Okay.
Chris Benoit. Very sort of came out at the same time, got big at the same time.
Okay,
those wrestlers. Yeah. So the fact that you've got Jericho rocking up in the middle of your movie as a
gator hunter,
dude, I was like, oh, Jericho,
you're gonna give me some gators.
Good Lord, this is really, really going left field.
Yeah. Hey, look, some of the violence looks really funny. Looks like it's all practical, and it looks like it's kind of, really over the top blood splatter and all that kind of stuff. So maybe he's trying to make something like a real, just a good old fashioned fun horror anthology, like a Tales from the Crypt or Creep Show kind of vibe. Like maybe that's what he's setting out to do.
I'm up for that. And that's the thing. Like, this trailer was bad, but that doesn't mean that like. What we could get in the end could be really, really good. It is Kevin Smith. He does make pretty decent films.
I'd say it. Well, it depends on your patience levels, I think, because I think when it gets to a certain point, there's only so much you can tolerate, and it's kind of like, okay, so his writing is still similar, but when the production values get down to a certain level, you kind of you've got to make the choice whether or not you're willing to watch that or not. And look, some of the shit that I watch, like. I must,
How's the production value on Hurricane Heist, Tyson?
It was all right. I'm talking more like I've seen all of the No Retreat, No Surrender sequels.
Oh yeah. Oh wow, sequels.
Yeah,
nice.
So these real cheap, made overseas martial arts movies that are loosely connected to their originals. I've also seen quite a few of the Kickboxer sequels. So I watch pretty much anything. Like if it's, I can accept production values on a real low scale. Those old school shot straight on video things, I'm all about them.
You're all about them.
Yeah. That's so maybe good. I should give Kevin Smith another go, perhaps.
Oh hell yeah, man! I'm totally for it. Look, especially if even one person says, you know what, I didn't mind that, I'll definitely give it a watch. Especially because of how everyone kind of dismissed Tusk, and I was all for it.
Yeah.
I barely listen to people. If someone says that it's shit, I'll make up my own mind.
Yeah, look, I tend not to listen to many people. Yeah. There's a few. There's just a handful. Should we move on, Nick?
Let's move on.
Let's move on to our feature prez.
Oh, feature prez. Right. Let's do it.
And now for our feature presentation.
Nobody comes back late at night anymore. They have more security.
The government noticed that they were moving into new areas. That's when things started to get out of hand.
They don't belong here.
They're spending so much money to keep them here when they could be spending it on other things. At least they're keeping them separate from us.
A lot of bad things started to happen.
They must just go. I don't know where they go. And they must just go.
We're at the breaking point. People are living in fear.
Why are you here? Why don't you just leave? How do your weapons work?
I just want everyone watching this right now to learn from what has happened.
All right, Nick.
Tyson.
So, tell me how, like a long-term lover of District 9?
Got long-term lover. Yeah, I didn't. I was trying to think who put me onto District 9 because it was smack bang in the middle of JB days, and someone, I don't remember a trailer. I don't remember a trailer for this. So yeah, I don't know how I came across it. It must have been word of mouth, and there was no way to stream back then, so I must have just bought it and watched it on a whim, and it was amazing.
That's an interesting point. I actually have no recollection of how I first saw this, other than I know I was rooting for it like crazy when it came to Oscar time, because...
Oh, yeah. It was up.
Yeah, because I heard... Picture. I know, this is bonkers. Like, when I was watching it again last night, this has to be one of the oddest choices that the Academy has ever made in its nominations.
You reckon?
I think so.
Yeah,
like, it is.
It is, yeah. It's a first movie for Neil. It's so bizarre that it's up there. It's very strange. Like, it's a good movie.
Don't get me wrong, I love it. I think it's great. Yeah, but when you think, like, even those slightly more left field choices that the Oscars have made over the years, this is something else. Like this, it's a movie about a crab alien, a guy turning into a crab alien.
Yeah,
like that's
so good.
I mean, obviously, there's a lot more going on, but usually, I remember when I first saw this, I was like, "Wow, what a fucking great movie! I'm going to watch this all the time. It's going to be a classic forever." Blah blah blah. And then it started getting weird attention, like a couple of critics lists and top 10 lists and things like that. And I was like, is this getting a bit of heat? Is this going to happen? Like. And I think because we're such big genre fans, obviously, that when it comes to Oscar time, we just dismiss that a lot of those will even be in the running. We just kind of assume that they're not going to be there.
No way. That's why Black Panther was such a... What? What the fuck? What?
Yeah.
Like...
It's not even that great.
What the fuck? Yeah.
It's a solid 3.5 star movie, Black Panther.
Massively 3.5. Like, it's a great film. Great film.
Yeah,
well
really
done.
enjoyable. Well done.
Oscars, really. Best picture.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But, geez, like... that's not to say that it didn't have a chance of winning. Do you think it
District
had a chance
9?
of winning?
No, never.
District 9?
I think it was missing. It was missing the key noms, which is interesting because I think, look, it was one of the first or the first year that the Academy expanded to 10 nominees. So
10, yeah.
So you were going to get some weird choices.
Yeah,
and because sorry, you go.
I hated the 10. No, that's all right. I hated the 10 noms. I'm up front.
I liked it more than what they're doing now because.
What are they doing now? What do you mean?
The anywhere between 5 to 10 thing.
Oh, right, where they don't pick a number. You'd rather them stick to a number?
No, the reason why I'd rather them stick to 10 is because the nomination process is slightly different. And so you have an opportunity for something like a District 9 to get nominated when there's 10 because you have to put down 10 choices. And so people kind of get to that point where it's like,
when they're at 8 and 9,
well, not
like,
even that, but you just get to be more creative with your choices because if you say the movie that is considered the Oscar favorite, right? You were you enjoyed it, you respected it, right? Mm-hmm. You can now put that at 7 or 8, knowing that it's full well going to get its nomination because of the industry support, and that little movie that you can chuck at number 1.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And so the balance changed a little bit when there was, and because of the way that they nominate, you get to a certain number and then they redistribute. Having to get to 10 means that redistribution process went on for longer. And you get weird movies like District 9. Whereas now the redistribution, you have to, no matter what, you have to reach a certain amount, which is why they can stop at either 7, 8 or 9 or 10.
Okay. And in that year, there was the animated movie for Pixar that year was also in, or was it Disney or Pixar, was also in Best Picture.
Yeah.
And I wasn't
was it Toy Story
a fan
3?
of that. Was it Toy Story 3? Yeah. Did you like that? Because I didn't like that either. I was like, no, it's got its own category. If you're going to do that, then get rid of Best Animated Feature. Just get rid of it and put it in Best Picture.
Yeah, but that's a kind of similar argument to the foreign film, though.
Good point.
I feel like if it's...
And Parasite was fucking insane.
Yeah, I feel like if it's good enough... I think because animation also has their own awards night, so it has the Annies, it can go do its thing there. Yeah. If it's good enough to be in both, I don't mind it, to be honest, yeah.
You're all right.
Yeah, okay. I see where you're going from, because it kind of eliminates any
bit.
Competition in that category.
Chance for exactly. But then, like, if that does, let's say that it is that good, that animated film, that it just goes gangbusters and starts winning everything, and then wins Best Picture. But something like a District 9 is in that category. You know, it's going to take away from people seeing something like District 9,
perhaps,
and everyone go, "Oh yeah, that Pixar is just amazing." Of course they are.
Yeah, I see where you're going. I mean, that's the argument that they've been having back and forth forever, and it's there's two sides to it for sure. But yeah, so District 9, I was very excited come Oscar time. It didn't win anything. It was never really going to. I think its nomination was exciting enough.
That was enough, yeah.
The fact that it got into screenplay, I think, was the one that I was like, wow, that's very cool. Like,
yeah,
that's a nice surprise. Because I would have thought it would be more just technical stuff. But, yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of technical, like, this thing, 2009, this thing still looks mint. These, especially for a first film as well, like, this thing looks like very, very legit. There's nothing kind of questionable. Even with the prawns, like, they do look... I don't like saying prawns because that's a derogatory term.
Well, I mean, that's it. It's weird because that's what we call them, but that's the only term that they use for that is in a derogatory way. So it's kind of like, we probably shouldn't be saying that.
Yeah. So, yeah, the aliens, let's just call them that.
Yep, that's fair.
Still look decent. Still look really, like, legit. It probably has to do with a lot of, I would say, the cinematography on this was I know a lot of people brought it, like, in reading what it's about, a lot of people had issues with District 9's editing, and I think that they're wrong. I can flat out say they're wrong, because I think it was edited in a way that it made it look... This is probably one of the absolute best... not found footage, but documentary movies I've ever seen, because it does look like everything is happening. So therefore, like, the edit looks amazing. The cinematography is also complementing that, whereas the shaky cam and things like that, and you're seeing these aliens in the natural habitat, or just seeing, like, when Vickers is doing something, but all of a sudden something happens off camera and the camera spins to kind of catch it, that can look bad. And over time, if you're doing it too much, you get over it and you're like, this just looks like shit. Whereas this, not only does it do it well, it knows when to do it and when to kind of stop.
The movie...
I think it's amazing.
I agree. And I think it's got one of the more fascinating things that I noticed last night watching it is the way that as the narrative goes on and as we become more engaged in it, they... gradually eliminate the mockumentary style, but they do it so subtly that we don't notice until about an hour in that, oh, hang on, it's no longer mockumentary. And I think that's really clever because it just, the way it doesn't draw attention to it. It doesn't go, okay, here's the documentary style opening and now here's the movie. We just go along watching it, and then suddenly things change and we realize, bit by bit, more narrative scenes occur, but we don't notice them that much at first until the whole thing is that way. And I think that's really well done. Really, really well done. And the only time I think I really, like, you can notice it while you're watching it, but the only time I think that you will really be drawn to it is at the end when it switches back. And you just go, oh shit, of course. I've been so caught up in this that I've forgotten that that's how this movie was first
started.
This is how it started.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
That's okay.
I really love that. And I love, back to what you're saying about the special effects. I think the aliens are still really quite effective. And I think that's... you can start to see their movement now is less... I think I was less impressed when I was watching it last night than I was initially, but only a little bit. Because it's now gone from, I can't believe that these aren't real, like they look so real, to me going, well, I know I can definitely tell they're fake, but I still have empathy for them, which means that they are designed well enough and executed well enough that I can empathize with them. And I think that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. It's doing its job. 100%.
And it's pretty incredible that these character designs that are so unappealing, like they are ugly. But
man, they are not attractive.
They do such a great job of making us care about Christopher and his kid that we just don't give two shits anymore that they are the ugliest looking things in the world. That little baby one is the cutest thing going around.
Yeah, man. So curious and just wants to, like, with him having being the little kid, like, when are we going to go? Are we going home? Are we going home? Are we going home, Dad? Are we going home, Dad? Like, having that, like, in there all the time, and him just fiddling with stuff, and basically he kind of saves the mission. That little kid, he really does.
He's the best.
You do sympathize with him so well.
Yeah, and considering how ugly they are, I think that's a real impressive feat of the movie. Yeah. I think really this whole movie is full of just unlikable people that you end up rooting for, or initially unlikable things. Like the first 20 minutes of this movie, you think everyone is just going to be an asshole for the whole movie, and you're going to hate everybody.
True. Yeah.
And it's amazing how much you're on Vicus's side by the end, and you're really rooting for him to pull through, and you love Christopher, you love the kid, you hate that soldier guy so much with a fiery passion.
Yeah, man, so much.
So satisfying to hear him when he gets his head ripped off. It's like, take that piece of shit.
One thing I love about this, I try to remember his fucking name. I've written no notes, like Nick the Amateur. There's, at the start, it's the main MNU guy who's telling us what has happened through the course of the history of the thing landing. He does such a good job that there is no way that he's not unbelievable. You believe absolutely everything that he's saying.
It's a hard gig to do that.
Real. Like, it's so good.
It's like whenever you see like actors pretending to be newsreaders or actors pretending to be talking heads in a doco, you can tell they're actors. Like, there's something missing about it. There's some kind of there's just this natural kind of cadence reality that people have when they're doing those. You can't. It's really hard to act. He does it so well. You believe him that he is legit straight out of a doco.
It's not reading lines like most. Obviously, in the back of your subconscious, you know that the film that you are watching has lines, and they're reading those lines. Yes. Unless you're watching something like a Christopher Guest film where they're literally just
you're right. They might be improving. Yeah,
you know what I mean? They might be improving the scene.
Yep.
This guy, I feel like he has done his research, known the story, told the story so many times that it's just become almost a reality for him. And he just tells the story, and you believe every word of it. Like,
probably, look, I mean, that might have been the approach. Maybe Blomkamp said to these guys, okay, so you're going to be like the talking heads and the docos. I need you guys to be able to tell these stories like you know these stories. So don't think of them as lines. Think of them as the stories that you've told. So maybe they kind of adapted them themselves as well and kind of found more... Because I know from time to time, having done a smidge of acting here and there, like when you know certain lines you just really struggle... because you know that if you were saying them as a human being, you'd say them a different way. You'd just add a different word in place of it, or you'd put a certain cadence on it and things like that.
Yeah.
So maybe they took some of them and went, you know what, it feels more natural for me to say it this way. Can I say it that way?
Yeah.
Yada, yada, 100%. Yada.
Let's talk Charlo Copley.
Yes.
This was his first movie.
It was.
My God, man.
It's a great introduction to him. And, he's gone on from here to do... just a ton of kind of bonkers stuff because of this role. Like, I think he hasn't really... Has he done just a drama or just a comedy or anything like that?
Not really. Could you... remember, we both watched it, I think. Free Fire? Remember Free Fire?
Yeah.
That's kind of a comedy. Kind of. And then there's the A-Team. That's not...
of course. The A-Team.
I watched the A-Team on a plane. It's perfect movie for a plane.
I've heard the A-Team is not terrible. I've never seen it.
It's not terrible. No, I didn't mind it. But then again, I'm and this is hilarious. I'm a bit young for the A-Team.
We are a little bit young. We kind of missed it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Look,
but he hasn't done much recently, Charlo. Like, last one was, what is this?
Well, he's been doing the shorts that Neil Blomkamp is directing. So he's done a few of those. Last Days of American Crime is apparently one of the worst movies. It was. Oh, really? It was a Netflix original, and it got absolutely caned.
Oh, that was this year.
Yeah. Oh, it has a 3.6 on IMDb.
Jesus, it has a 1.5 on Letterboxd.
Yeah,
a 1, people. Shit.
So, it's not great.
I'll definitely watch that.
Look, and I like him a lot. I think he's a very versatile actor. I think in this you can kind of see the differences that what he can do, because he does start off so unlikable and just like a sniveling little shitbag. But as he grows through the movie, he's very believable, and you start to see a more capable, heroic kind of character. And I think he pulls it off really well, and you can see the range that he has, so that he is believable, in an action hero role.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember like watching this. He plays such a bumbling idiot, especially at his own birthday. I thought that was like pinnacle Charlotte Copley. Bumbling. Oh, what's his name? Oh, Vickers Monavana.
Vickers. Yeah.
Vickers. That, and when he's getting forced to shoot the guns, you knew that he was an actor who's he's going to stay around for a while, and I hope he does. To be honest, I really do. I think he's fucking great.
It's it's a really sad scene. Like I find myself really like
it turns hard, doesn't it?
And it really. The movie, it shifts gears so many times, which is one of the reasons why I like this movie as well. It's such a I remember the first time watch, and unfortunately we can never experience this again. But it was such a unique first time watch, because you are constantly on your toes, because the movie keeps changing underneath you. You don't know what it's going to be, and so. The directions that it takes, suddenly, when you're watching this mockumentary style, and you're kind of like, all right, cool, yeah, okay, aliens in the slums of, South Africa, okay, it's going to be real dry kind of political satire.
Yep.
And then bang, it's like The Fly all of a sudden, and he's ripping fingernails off, and it's getting real body horror, and I was just like, oh yeah, this is getting gnarly. And of course it ends up in like a fucking mech-suit shootout. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
You just don't like...
So different. And especially in the middle of that, you've got him like he's being captured, he's being tortured, going against his will. There's that relationship he has with his wife, and his father-in-law is just a piece of fucking shit.
Isn't he just?
Like, just a wholesome piece of shit. And then from that, you're getting the introduction of, what was his name? It's the alien that has the ship's name?
Christopher.
You said it before. Christopher, thank you. Christopher and his son, and then their kind of rescue mission to grab the thing from MNU, that little piece, which was so badass. And you're like,
we get it's like a heist thriller all of a sudden.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck? How are they getting away with this? And they get away with it, and it's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so many shift changes. You're all over the shop of this thing.
You really are.
It's so good.
It is so good. I'd say that there's a few moments that don't entirely work for me, that just kind of, that I think if they were exercised from this movie, we could be like...
Better for them?
I think so. It just might have helped, because the tone shifts are really jarring at times, but the ones that I don't like are the shifts into... like really broad satire, like you were saying about the dad. I think him and his little cronies, the businessmen.
Yeah,
I think they're it's just a bit too broad.
Yeah,
of the suits. There's so much grey area in this movie for there to not be any grey area with them. I think is a bit of a misstep. And also I don't love the story that they concoct as to why he's growing the hand is that he had sex with them.
Oh yeah,
because I think they're playing that for a joke, and I think it's a cheap joke.
No. Yeah, that didn't land like at all. Like,
no, it's really kind of because
it wasn't funny, and it wasn't serious. So You know what I mean? So it didn't work. Like,
well, the movie doesn't treat it
like,
seriously. The movie tries to set it up as a joke because it has all those people in that fast food restaurant screaming and running.
Yeah,
and it's like it's a hideous like.
Depiction,
and he's like, it's not my hand's fine. It's like, it's all really broad comedy.
That's true.
Which I don't need that. The only thing that works in that is, I think, when he goes to see the Nigerian gang lord and he's like, how did you do it?
Did you do this? You did this, huh? Yeah.
How does that even work? Yeah. I'm like, that's kind of interesting. But other than that, I could do without those moments. But that's pretty much it. Other than that, this movie all completely works for me.
And that, those things are so small that you don't really give a shit.
No, it passes.
It passes over.
It really passes.
Fast.
And even one of a moment I do really like is one with the dad, and it's when because you could still do this moment without them being like mustache twirlingly evil, but the way Vickers tries to grab his hand and he just pushes it back down on the table.
Yeah, he just pushes it down. Yeah.
That bit for me, that works really well. But you could have done that without them being exactly like tying him to a fucking railway line.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
I do going like Charlotte. I remember seeing it for the first time, and like I said before, hoping that Charlotte Copley stays around, and him playing that bumbling idiot so well. If someone plays a role that well, you kind of think to yourself, are they kind of, because they're drawing from their own life. Obviously, you sometimes go, is that person really like that? And then Elysium came out, and my God, he has range. You're like, shit, you are fucking petrifying.
100%. And I think that because it was his first film as well, we don't know that about him. Like watching it now, we can see the performance a lot more because we know what he's capable of, and we know that he's a very he has got a broad range of skills, and we know that he can be he can do all these different types of characters effortlessly. But at first, we were probably just watching him thinking, is this guy must just be like this because he's so convincing. But even by the end of the movie, you turn that around because of the way that he transforms through the movie. You know that he actually is a much more varied actor. But
that's true.
He's so fucking... But the thing that I think the hardest thing about it is that he does it the best, is that he makes him in no way sympathetic. So he has such a long way to go as a character to win us over as an audience. Yeah. Because yes, he's kind of bumbling and funny and whatever, but he's a piece of shit. Like, he really is.
Yeah, he's awful to the aliens, and he knows that he is. Yeah, he knows his way around. He's a slimy little fuck.
He's awful to them. He cuts corners. He's like the way one of them knocked the pad out, and he's like, "Oh, it counts, it counts." You know, like that. Like he's a scumbag. He's weaselly, but he's also spineless. Like absolutely spineless.
Yeah. And even if you think, like, if you like him from the start, you think, no, he's just kind of a bumbling fool. He's all right. He's just doing his job. The scene that they get you is when he starts popping the pods, the alien pods, and you can hear them, and he's having a laugh. He's like, no, take this one. You can say that you did one yourself. You know, you can take it home.
Yeah, and it's like, an awful line. He says something like, it's a souvenir from your first abortion or something, and I'm just like, oh,
like,
God.
Fucking hell.
No.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. He is.
You're right. The moment, there's a moment there's a moment that gets me of him where it's the way he keeps saying, we tried to be nice, when they, to them, and like just the way he's so, he's such a typical coward, like, because he's got the guy with the gun behind him, so he thinks that he has the power when he has absolutely none, and then he's got that inferiority complex where as soon as you're disrespected, you flip and you become really aggressive and demand respect. And it's like, no, that's there are people like you in the world, and they're the worst kind of people. So it's fascinating the way they do it. And I can't even remember him by the end of the movie. He's gone. You know what I mean?
Vickers?
That Vickers is gone by the end of the movie.
That Vickers, is gone. Yeah, it's the torture scene that gets him out. But he's still kind of a little bit of a prick. Like when he steals the ship. I was like, dude,
that's what I mean. I don't think
this was going to be a fucking good idea.
I don't think it's until the moment he turns back for Christopher, like where he's fully embraced.
He's full redeemed. Yeah.
He's like, no, because it's the first time in the movie where his actions aren't about him anymore. they're about somebody else, because he could get away. He could get up to the ship because he's going to be alien enough to be able to get up there. But instead, he turns around to save Christopher. We'll send him up, and he's accepting 3 years as an alien to save Christopher's life. So I think that's finally the first moment where he's actually not a selfish bastard.
You do get little bits here and there, like when
of course you do.
Jesus, you know what scene that killed me? Which is God, and it's a testament to the film. The fact that Christopher realizes that he's not going to go home. He spent, how long was it? 20 years? It was 20 years.
20 years trying to gather up the juice.
And I remember, like, just a little bit, I remember seeing that and going, hang on a minute, have they been there for 20 years? Because you don't really realize that at the start of the movie, the ship landed in the 80s.
Yeah.
They don't kind of cement that fact very well. So you're kind of like, what, 20 years? So they've been there since the 80s. Anyway, Christopher has to tell his son that they're going to these to a new home.
Isn't it terrible?
Camp. And it's just an awful scene. And Vickers comes in, and he has a little bit of redemption where he just goes, "You don't want to go there. It's actually worse.
Yeah,
it's way worse than here. Stay here. It's it's better for you and your son."
Well, it's nice that he finally realizes that what he's doing is the wrong thing. Like he's
no, I reckon he's known it the whole time.
No, you're probably right, actually. But I think subconsciously he knows. But I think he's trying to tell himself that it is the right thing in order to justify his own actions.
Exactly.
So the way, I'm sure that there are a lot of people that do questionable things, try to justify it and find ways to justify it. Yeah, so he's obviously done that his whole life, and there's a real sense of like, not relaxation, release there in him, I think, where he's willing to say, no, we aren't doing the right thing. Even the bit where, because that's before, so he's seen what they're really doing underneath there, but he hasn't told Christopher yet. But he, the fact that he knows that what he's been doing is awful, and it's the wrong people, and it's funny.
Do you think he's naive? Like, he is naive. But the fact that, like, when he's strapped down on the gurney and he's been taken into the back room and he sees what they're doing to the aliens and torturing them and trying to find out scientifically whatever, obviously, and he just has no idea that this is going on. Like, he is that naive. Like, he doesn't really have it kind of taps into the fact that he's naive and his cowardice. Like, at the end, like, when he's in the Mech Warrior and he's taking on, it's Corvus, isn't it? That fucking sergeant.
Yeah, I think so.
He's taking on Corvus. He could rip him apart in that Mech Warrior. That Mech Warrior is huge.
I think
but he knows. Corvus knows. He just yells at him and goes, "Yeah, come on, Vickers. Like, let's see what you got, man." And he just runs. And
well, that's it. You can put I think because he is. If you go back to that opening scene where. He tries to question him about the ammunition, and he just chews him out in front of the cameras, and even the after he gets this thing sprayed in his face, and he's like, "You're going to cut that out, right? You're going to let's just cut that bit out." Like, he is so insecure in himself, like. He's just really got serious problems. So a lot of this fun kind of atmosphere that he's putting on, the way he talks to that Thomas guy, and he's got his little trainee buddy, and he's like, oh, come on, we're going to have a first day on the job. Like, a lot of that is it's false confidence. And it feels like he's read too many How to Succeed in Business, or what's that book called? How to Win Friends and Alienate. What is it?
People. Yeah.
No, what's the actual one? What's the actual book called? Like. Anyway, maybe he's watched too many Tony Robbins infomercials. But that's what it feels like to me, like typical kind of like making up for complete lack of self-confidence. And Corpus just knows, he sees straight through it, and so he's playing into that.
He does, yeah.
What do you think of?
Yeah, Corvus knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah, 100%. What do you think of the Nigerian gang side plot?
I love them. I think it's great. I think it didn't have to go back to them twice. I felt that once was maybe enough, but it was. I liked it. I liked both times. They were fucking great.
Because we get the great.
Do you know what I mean?
The second time is great though, because we honestly in that moment don't know how he's going to get out of it. Like, we honestly, there's a real. I remember the first time I saw it, there's that real momentary. I have no idea where this is going to go, and then as things started becoming operational. And just in the back of your head, you go, "Oh, there's a mech suit there," and you just kind of
shit.
Oh shit!
And I love how it's so beautiful how it kind of opens up ready for him. And that's kind of, it's the only bit in the movie where the CG is just a little bit on the nose.
The mech suit's
with the
not
smoke.
Fantastic.
No, with the smoke around it. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing there?
I don't think the mech suit moves around too well anymore. I think it feels a little bit too,
it's weird.
It's too smooth.
It's weird.
I want it to have that mechanical feel. A little bit
jolted
more.
And not. Yeah, you completely. I completely agreed. Like when you first watched that, you were like, "Oh, Vickers, you're fucked. They're going to cut your arm off.
Yeah.
They're going to eat it." Like and there's that sense of, because you've been with him for so long, and he's our protagonist. You're like, "Oh, how are you going to get out of it?" You feel fear for Vickers.
They do a really good job, and they needed that, because I don't think you could only
Corvus
have...
doesn't give you that.
He can't be the only villain. Like, they can't...
No.
And if you're going to have a boots-to-the-ground scrap, which I think this movie benefits immensely from having that.
Huge.
Because if it had just been a kind of the escape from the place, and then a kind of like a thriller kind of escape in the ship, I feel like we'd be missing something. We need a big old-fashioned scrap on the ground, and
massively.
So I think we need that third entity, and they're such a great foil for that, because they're presented as such a strong threat, but as soon as the tables are turned, you realize just how useless they are.
Massively.
Because just some machetes and some machine guns in the hands of people that aren't trained to use them, they can they have no fear. Obviously, they'll just cut a dude. They won't give two shits. They'll cut a guy's arm off and eat it, whatever. But they don't have the skill or anything. So it's interesting how that kind of diminishes their power as soon as he gets the mech suit. Whereas with the soldiers, you still feel like they're a threat.
I love how in that scrap, the weapons that we see in this movie, I don't think we've ever seen them. They feel like things that we haven't seen.
Yeah,
before.
Like that pulse rifle thing where it just kind of knocks your ass over, and then the lightning bolt that just fucking turns you into soup.
Turns you into like a tomato blows up.
Exactly.
Like literally, like you're like, what the fuck, man? There's nothing of you. And because it happens so fast, it's not comical, but it catches you off guard every time.
No, it's not. You're right. It's not comical, but every time someone gets the shit blown up, I always have that reaction. Whoa. Yeah. Ooh. It's like I'm watching a wrestling match and someone just got suplexed, and you're like, oh,
I felt that DDT. God damn.
It's a really good way to do it on the cheap too, and you can see that it's clever thinking around the budget, because they can actually just go from frame with the person in it to frame, and they're gone, and there's just CGI splatter, like, because there's no need for kind of overlaying like blood splatter with a corpse falling to the ground awkwardly or anything like that. No, they're just gone. No. They're just soup.
They're just gone. Yeah. So good. Yeah. And it works well with what comes out of the gun. Like, it is almost like a bolt of lightning. Like, it just,
exactly.
And they disappear that fast. Like,
it's really good. I love that last sequence. It unfortunately never has the same feeling that it did the first time I watched it, which was that feeling of just, I was like, you get in that suit, Vickers, and you fuck him up and do it. You fucking do it, buddy. And especially
like, and at the end, like, when he's screaming for them, like, he's screaming Corvus's name, and the suit is just like, it's hobbling, shit is spurting out everywhere, and that final, like, you were on the edge of your seat. Corvus fires that RPG, and Vickers catches it, and you're like, oh my god, Vickers, yes, man, like, it was so good.
You're right. I forgot the catching the fucking rocket.
Like the catch.
But it's so good, isn't it? It's not because you just don't see it happening at all. You're just
because you think like, oh fuck, he's down.
He's down, and you're just like, what's going on? And he just and it just blows the arm off, and you're like, yes, fuck yes. Look, good. And I mean, this, there are tons of moments in this movie where I'm a bit of a moment.
Yeah,
I think, because
that's true.
The movie is just, it knows how to play its genre so well, and it's amazing how it starts. Like, we kind of talked about this already, but it starts as one thing, and if you were expecting a certain kind of movie, it's kind of like you just say, oh, just wait 20 minutes and it'll be that movie soon. You know what I mean? Like, if someone went into it and I was like, I heard this was fucking balls to the wall action, it's like, all right, just hang on 20 minutes. Or if someone said, I heard this was a kind of like a weird body horror, like alien movie. It's like, yeah, give it time.
Just wait 20 minutes.
Just wait 20
minutes.
I heard this was a political allegory as to the plight of the refugees in South Africa. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just
give it 20
wait
minutes.
That's so true. It is. This movie is quite nice that it adds weight with that kind of political stance on the apartheid and all of that stuff that happened in South Africa.
Yeah.
I think it adds a lot of weight to this movie.
Yeah, and look, I'm
rather than just being a cheap B grade, sci-fi.
It's obviously very deliberate. I mean, Blomkamp being South African, it's obviously something that he's been directly affected by, and so he has a stronger stake in. I don't really know much about apartheid. My knowledge of it is pretty slim. But to me, his knowledge has obviously crafted the story, but for me, it just feels like an allegory on any kind of refugee situation. Like, just think of what we do to, people on Christmas Island and like Manus Island and stuff like that. Like, it's the same the world over.
Anyway,
he obviously has a direct stake in it because of his culture and his upbringing. But yeah, I think it just works exceptionally well as a statement on any kind of refugee situation, and the way that rights are just being stripped away all over the place from people that are just trying to find somewhere to be
somewhere
safe.
to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah. Do you think, I haven't watched the making. Do you think, because this set, during this watch, because I've actually watched this, I realised this time, I've watched this quite a bit. I watch it just like once a month, maybe even twice a year. Sorry, once a month, fucking once a year, sorry.
It's the first of the month again.
Yeah, first of the month. Let's watch District 9. All right. Nick, are you going to watch that again? Yes, I am.
You better believe it.
I at least watch it once, if not twice a year.
Yeah.
So this is the first time watching it. This time, that's the sets, like the slums that they're looking at. They're clearly actual slums. This can't be dressed up. It's dressed up too well if it is. Like, it looks completely 100% legit.
Well, I mean, it'd have to be because they wouldn't have had the budget to do much else. Yeah. So I think there would be quite a bit of a location shot, though.
But this is where they did have a shitload of budget on this. This was, so for District 9, because it looks so good, remember back in 2000, I think it was 2005 or 6, Peter Jackson was going to make the Halo film. And he got a shitload of money. He even built the Jeeps, the Halo Jeeps that you play in the game. He actually built those. Right. He has 2 in his backyard. I know that for a fact.
That's pretty wild.
That's badass, yeah. The money was given to him, and then for some reason, Halo didn't go through. I think it had something to do with Bungie, the company, or Microsoft in itself. They just didn't want to do it, or something happened. Anyway, Peter Jackson gave that money to Blomkamp to make District 9.
Okay.
And this, and I don't know, the money obviously you can see because this movie doesn't look fucking B grade. It doesn't look like a first film. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, it looks like
this.
IMDb. Oh, excuse me. IMDb says it was about a 30 mil budget, so that's more than I thought, for sure. Yeah, so that's kind of mid to low range for like an action sci-fi movie like this. But because of you've got no stars, you're not paying acting bills at all. The director's a first timer, so he's probably not taking a fee. And
he wrote it, didn't he?
And he wrote it.
So it's him writing as well.
Yeah. So I think it's 30 mil that you can spend entirely on the movie. You don't have to do anything dumb. You don't have Eddie Murphy wanting craft services, demanding it's 14 Evian bottles per hour. Like,
you don't have J-Lo doing the same thing.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What the hell, man?
So I think, all 30 mil of this is on screen, which is nice to see sometimes, because you hear about, think about something like Justice League, which apparently was the $300 million budget or something. Yeah, I just don't see it on the screen. You just don't see it there.
You don't see anything on that fucking screen.
It looks like a 60 mil movie. Like,
pass. Yeah, and that's why, like what you said before at the start of the episode, like you can see it in the creature development of the aliens. They do look realistic to the point where we're sympathizing with them.
Yeah.
Like when we first watched them, and it's hard because you're put off by what they look like. Geez, they've done a good job on this movie.
Oh,
Imagine,
100%.
That's a thought process to make them that ugly. To go, no, we're gonna have you sympathize with them, but they're gonna be fucking hideous to look.
Well,
at.
that's what I mean. I think if you
when they're chewing down on cat food, you're like, oh fucking hell, man.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Jesus
but
Christ.
even the movie itself. I mean, obviously we know because we've watched it. But when you're watching it for the first time, there's nothing in the first 20 minutes of the movie that makes you think you are going to be sympathetic for these characters. Which is, everything about what we know about watching movies says that they're probably going to be the villains. Or there's going to be some kind of uprising or blah, blah, blah. We don't, we're trained to see it a certain way. And so they match that physically. And I think that's part of the physical design is that, because they look so ugly, we associate them with ugly things to begin with. And then as we're suddenly like, oh, hang on, that one's actually really nice. Oh, there's a little baby one that's really cute. Oh, hang on, they're having conversations that seem pretty normal. That's... If that had been made by a studio, this movie, I can almost guarantee they'd be saying, no, this is not the alien design. Make him look like Avatar.
Yeah, no.
Like... Can they
make them look sexy?
I was about to say.
Can they look sexy?
Okay, so they can be aliens, but they got to be sexy, though. You got to want to fuck them.
Where are they? Look, I'm just going to put this out there. I know I'm a bit older, but can they have titties? Can we put titties on them?
Exactly.
How are you still on this board,
which ones are girls and guys?
Fuck. Exactly. How do you know which ones are girls and guys? Are they girls? Well, do you want to see a penis?
They're an alien race.
I'd rather see titties.
Yeah, exactly. They chucked in one wearing a bra for you, Nick.
Yeah, I know they did.
Yeah,
they did.
That's how you know it's a girl prawn.
Fucking questionable is what that is. That's I don't want to fuck that. Can we put ones in so that we want to fuck?
That's right. And the studio guys even like, look, it says here in the script. It says here that people think he had sex with them. You got to make him sexier. And that's why those guys get paid the big bucks.
Horrible. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, bastards. Yeah.
Yes, but what hole though? Where's the hole?
Oh God.
We need to know exactly where it would go if you were to have do it.
It's the tentacle face, unfortunately. You have to put it in the tentacle face.
What is it in Avatar that they do? What do they twist their hair or some shit?
No, it's the tails. The tails link.
That's it.
The tails link. And
that's some sexy shit right there.
That's definitely some sexy stuff.
Hot.
Like, fuck, I fucking hate Avatar.
I'm really excited to rewatch Avatar. It's been...
Really?
I have not seen it since I saw it twice in the cinemas, and I've never seen it since.
You saw it twice?
Yeah,
why did you see it twice?
I've got a memory of seeing it twice. I think I saw it once, and then some other friends wanted to go, and I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll see it again.
Oh, right. No, I saw it once. I saw it once because my wife was like, I'm not seeing that shit. I'm not going to give James Cameron money for that shit.
That's the only time I've seen it. And I'm getting far enough away from it now to actually be a little bit excited to watch it again because it'll be a completely new experience.
No, watch Pocahontas. You'll get a better feel for it. And there's way better fucking songs. Exactly.
That one?
Such a good song. Fucking love that song. I belted that the other day while I was doing the dishes.
That's a big belt. It's because of the step-ups to the chorus.
Yeah, exactly.
It sits really well for you. You can just let loose on it.
Yeah, exactly. My wife came downstairs. She was like, do you know all those words? I was like, as if I don't know all those words. What are you saying?
How did you spend your childhood?
Exactly. What do you...
If it wasn't learning the lines to Disney songs, I don't know what you were doing.
I was in my 20s when I did
I was about to say, it was like 90... What was it? 96 Pocahontas? 97?
96, 95? Who knows?
It
was a golden
Who will ever know?
It was lovely.
Yeah, it's
point
very
is,
good.
watch Pocahontas, not Avatar.
No, the point is, prawns, sexy.
Sexy prawns, right.
Yeah. So that's a big part of it for me is that, like, that 30 mil... If this had been an 80, 90 mil movie, it means that you would have had studio money, which means we wouldn't have got this movie. We would have got a watered down version of this movie. There's no way you're having people eating alien arms in a,
in a 20 mil movie.
In a 90 mil movie.
Well, it wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been set in Johannesburg.
Oh yeah, exactly. They would have been like, yeah, but can we?
Damn sure. Let's put it in Detroit.
Yeah.
Let's put it in Detroit.
Exactly.
You want slums? We'll give you a little bit of our slums. I'm like, you're a dickhead.
Yeah.
You don't understand.
No, you're right. 100% would have been Detroit.
Yeah.
And it would have been
Detroit,
like, yeah, but
we'll make it American.
It's not really the same.
Can the aliens be drinking beer?
Yeah.
Can you go away?
I've just been on the phone with the guy from Coors. Instead of cat food, they drink Coors.
Right.
Coors. They drink Coors Light.
Coors Light. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Tyson.
Yes, Nick.
I kind of miss Neil Blomkamp. I would like to see him do some more things. Where has he gone?
He's been making these short films. He did this series of short films that I've not seen any of. And I remember when the trailers came out, they looked really interesting. And I thought it was a feature film, and then it turned out to be a series of shorts, and I was less interested, which is my own thing. I know that I should still be interested because it's a director I really admire, and he's making... Yeah. He's got a project of any sort, so I should be jumping all over it. But for some reason, I just don't really dig short films. I don't know.
You like a long sit?
No, it's not even that. I just feel like the length of a movie. I'm so attuned to the length of a movie that when I sit and watch like a 30-minute movie that tries to do what a movie does, it's different when you're watching a television show because that's what a television show is programmed to do. I find it hard to break that mold, and I know that's my own thing.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, so I would love to watch some of them, but
I might do that.
I just want to see his Alien 5. That's what I want to see. I want him to do it.
Alien 5.
Give me Hicks. Give me scarred up Hicks. Give me Newt.
Oh, that's right, because he said it's right after 2, didn't he? That's kind of getting rid of my 3, my Fincher's 3. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's
you know what?
Alternate reality.
I'm all for multiverse.
That movie feels like an alternate reality anyway. That movie feels like
really does.
It's not connected to the first two. If it didn't have Sigourney Weaver in it, it wouldn't be an Alien movie. It'd just be a random...
No, it would. That's the thing. It'd just be an Alien movie that happened elsewhere.
Yeah,
without Ripley.
Yeah.
I think that should have happened.
But yeah,
on your short film thing, have you? This is a bit off topic. The Netflix series Love, Death and Robots. I have had that in my watch list for since it's been there forever. A friend of mine told me to watch this. Nick, you'll love it. I saw that the first episode went for literally 10 minutes, Tyson. Now, I put it off, watched the first 10-minute one, and then I literally binged watched the whole thing because it was that good.
Right.
All of them. There's the longest one goes for 25 minutes.
Okay.
And that is it. And they are so good. There's maybe 2 duds. And the rest are fucking gold. They are so good, Tyson.
Yeah.
So, if anyone hasn't watched them, I'm definitely, and especially if you're, maybe questioning on the short film, because I'm not up for... I remember when, if MIF comes out or anything like that, I got a taste of it, and I was very, very down for a lot of years going to the Melbourne International Film Festival. And I used to go and get freebies and watch all those things. And then I just got fucking over it, and I was like, this is shit.
That's a young man's game.
Exactly. I'm done. I'm going to go home. You know what? I'm going to go to the cinema. Fuck it. Yeah. I'm going to watch a decent, something with a bit of meaty budget on it.
Look, I'm a bit the same. Whenever MIF comes around and someone's like, hey, do you want to come see this experimental Ukrainian film made for $10,000? I'm like... Nah,
I couldn't think of anything worse.
I'm okay.
And that's what happens when you get old.
It is. I shouldn't be that way,
but there are some fucking magical short films out there. They are magic. Yeah.
There's no reason why I shouldn't like them. I love anthologies. I love the Tales of the Crypt episodes of television, which is essentially all little short films.
Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone Tice.
I love all that.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So I should be all about it. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm complaining about something that I actually do like. So if I just
exactly. And was it the first and second season of X-Files? That's why I love that series. It's because of those. They were short. They were just little episode that one story in an episode, and that was it. When it turned into what's happening with the smoking man, I was like, oh, I'm out. I'm done. This shot shit.
Well, that's how TV shows used to be.
Exactly.
That's how they were all through the 80s and 90s, is that they were designed that if you could miss 6 weeks and come back and catch an episode and know exactly because nobody had changed, nobody had grown. There might be another character and you'd be like, oh, who's that? And then you just say, oh, that's their daughter. Okay, cool.
Exactly.
And then you move on.
Exactly. And that's when previously on Dawson's Creek came in and you were like, oh, come on.
Well, I think it wasn't the first, but Buffy was one of the shows to really popularize that storytelling format. It was not the first, but definitely.
It was definitely not the last.
Well, it definitely put a spring in its step and made people realize that serialized storytelling might be the way to go.
Sliders. That was a fucking good show.
Well, okay, so perfect example. Quantum Leap. Every week. He wakes up in a different time, in a different body, has a little story to fix, has somebody's life to improve, and then at the end of the episode, he jumps again, another leap, Who knows where he's going to turn up? And, he looks at himself in a mirror and he's wearing a dress and he's like, oh, boy.
I'm a woman.
Again?
Oh,
I feel like he was a woman.
What could be more...
I know, exactly. What could be more embarrassing?
Exactly.
It's almost like he heard the wah, 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 every time he looked in and saw he was a woman. Bless. I do want to watch Quantum Leap again. Do you know what I saw? We're digressing massively, but I've run out of things to say about District 9, to be honest.
So have I. Yeah. We haven't done notes. We're very cheap. We're on the cheap. But
this is on target for a real short episode. I like it. I watched just randomly today while I was just before class, before I had to start teaching. I had some breakfast, and there was an episode of Jake and the Fat Man on. Do you remember Jake and the Fat Man?
No, isn't that like a fucking 70s show?
No, I think it was like late 80s, early 90s. But it's just a cop show about a guy called Jake who's like fit and runs around and can shoot guns, and the Fat Man who is just his detective buddy who sits behind a desk and is like, rah, rah, rah. And it was...
I remember the Family Guy rip. I do. I do remember that. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And it was the way stories used to be. The characters would just, it would be story of the week. And it'd be like, what's happened this week? Oh, yeah, some guy's
we're going to solve
stalking
crime.
someone. We'll fix it.
Yeah.
Like Columbo.
Gone are the days, Tyson. Gone are the days. Whereas now, if I want to, because I still haven't done the last season of Game of Thrones, if I want to do that, do you know what I have to do? I have to YouTube previously on fucking the last 3 seasons of Game of Thrones so that I can realize what's going to happen and where. I could not give a shit. But the fact that it's looming and I just have to finish it off, and a friend of mine is still waiting for me to finish it so we can talk about it. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I will get around to it. I will. It's just that, geez, I got to watch District 9 again. Sorry about that.
It's the first of the month, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I got to watch it. Don't you watch that every month? Shut up, man. Sorry.
Yeah. I think the main reason why I stopped watching Game of Thrones, one of the reasons was that it started to become a chore, and I would watch it and be like, oh, God, do I have to watch another episode? Are you serious? But the biggest reason was that I knew my memory is not great for shows like that, and if I don't watch it, if I don't continuously watch something, I tend to forget what happened pretty quickly. And... with a year between, like a full year to 18 months between episodes, there was no way I was going back to rewatch any of those fucking episodes because I was always like, oh, God, thank God I got through that.
Yeah.
That I just went, nah, that's it, I'm out.
He's like, I'm done. Later. I'm good.
I'll just watch Buffy for the 17th time.
Exactly. I'll just go back. You know what? House is finally finished. I'm just going to watch all of House. Fuck it.
I'm not watching House at the moment. Are you watching House at the moment? You're crazy.
Of course I am.
During a pandemic.
House is awesome. Yeah, it's fine. He fixes everything, and it's all right. It's always either cancer or what's the God damn it.
There was that
lupus.
One. Yeah, lupus. Do you remember the one I remember really clearly? It was the one where somebody got poisoned because too many pigeons were shitting on the roof of the building.
Yep. I remember that. Yeah, and they were shitting in, and it was affecting the water that they were drinking. Yeah. I literally watched that not that long ago.
And even in these times, whenever, COVID times, it's like, well, at least I'm not inhaling bird shit.
Exactly.
It could be worse.
Wrong. Exactly. The one that I watched recently was they couldn't figure out. They were like, what's going on? We don't know. Seconds away from dying. House comes in. He always comes in. House comes in and just cuts
oh my God, I know what you're about to say.
A little bit,
I know exactly what you're about to say.
And just pulls out a fucking meter-long tapeworm.
It's
right. Like so long. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, and then the episode finishes, and I go through a fucking rabbit hole of tapeworms, where they are, how can you get them, how long can they grow? Oh God, fucking hell! It was such a good episode.
Yeah, you're right. God, good show. Good show.
Told you, man. House. I'm telling you. Fuck Game of Thrones.
It's a hot take. I'll tell you what, this episode has turned into old men yelling at clouds like you wouldn't believe. It's fucking outrageous.
And that's okay.
All right, well, any final thoughts on District 9, Nicholas?
No, watch it. And I feel like I feel like I need to tweet at Neil Blomkamp and tell him to do a new movie.
Yes, well, I feel like he's had a bit of a bad run. So
did you like because apart from Chappie, which I wasn't a big fan of at all, I did like Elysium. I thought Elysium was quite good. Where do you sit on his other films?
Yeah, so I rewatched Elysium knowing that we were doing District 9 because I thought it'd be fun to rewatch it. I actually watched it before I watched District 9.
All right.
Yeah, because I'd only seen it the one time. And it was funny, as I was watching it, I was like, oh, I don't think I liked this as much as I liked it the first time I watched it. And I got to the end of it and went to rate it, and I was like, in my head, I was like, that's a solid 3-star movie. Like, there are some bits I really enjoy, but overall, it doesn't reach the heights that it should reach. Turns out it's exactly how I felt about it the first time I watched it, because I'd already rated it, and it was a 6. And I was like, oh, so I guess I just felt the same way. I have real problems with Jodie Foster's character in that movie.
Okay.
It is one of the worst performances I've ever seen in my life.
Whoa!
She is absolutely terrible. She is laughably terrible. And I think...
I like it.
Yeah.
I like a bold statement.
It's a bold statement, I know.
I like it.
Because there's been, 6... what's his name? Ernest movies. So to say it's the worst performance is a bit rough. But... She almost derails the whole film, I think, because it's just so not. She's not a character. She's just awful.
I remember. Yeah. And to be honest, I think that Matt Damon is miscast.
I think Matt Damon's miscast, but he does okay.
Yeah.
He does.
He does okay. Sure, but it's not him. It's weird.
Like, God, he's jacked in it though. Fucking hell, man. Yeah. There's a bit where he doesn't have his shirt on. You're just like, fuck, Matt Damon.
Yeah, man.
Jesus,
Matt Damon.
You hit the gym.
Fuck yeah. Pound, fucking lifting hard.
Yeah, he should be doing a superhero movie of some description. He's one of those guys that's like...
He is.
What's he doing?
He's doing... he did Thor 3.
Oh, that's right.
Or was it Thor 3? The start of Thor 3?
Yeah.
Was it start? No, start of Thor 2. Thor 2?
That's the third one.
He was in one of the Thors.
Where they're doing the play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the third one. But Charlotte Copley is awesome in it, and he's a really fun character, and he gets his face blown the fuck off, and it's amazing. That moment in that when they rebuild his face is it's so gnarly. But just overall, it just doesn't work for me anywhere near as effectively as this, and I think it tries to do similar things. It has a really... It's just treading the same ground to me. Like it's all about the separation between rich and poor and the class divide, and it's the same kind of stuff that this movie's doing anyway.
But District does it better.
Tons better. The poverty that we feel.
He needs a new script and do something else.
I think he needs to get out of that mindset. I think he needs to do something that he doesn't write, because I think he's really set in his ways, because Chappie is the same thing again. Chappie is all about class warfare and social inequality, and I get that there are things that he really cares about, and I'm not saying that you can't do that, but he's just treading
movies, man. Move on.
Yeah, he's treading water a little bit. Chappie, I remember not liking, but then I have fond memories of it for some reason.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Mostly because of the fucking Ninja and Die Antwood performances, because they're just is it Antwood or something? I don't know, because they're just fucking terrifying human beings, and I don't believe they exist. And they're just there in this movie as actors, and you're like, okay, all right, sure, and
sure,
It's pretty impressive, yeah.
Yeah, Chappie. Yeah, I don't remember running it that high. Yeah. Oh.
I'd just love to see him do something else. I'd just love to see him play in a different world. Because visually, even Elysium visually is pretty incredible. The action sequences, that first action sequence.
Man.
Have you seen it recently? Do you remember it well?
No.
There's an action sequence early on where they're trying to steal information out of William Fichtner's head. And it's crazy good. Like it's such a great sequence. But yeah, there's other bits like the hand-to-hand combat stuff between Matt Damon and Charlotte Copley. Fucking great. It just doesn't amount to anything in the end, that one. So
nice.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Nick,
District 9.
I think we should maybe move on to our next segment,
which is
What did you watch this week?
Yeah.
Nick,
Tyson,
you been watching a lot of James Bond?
I did. Well, this is the thing. I have finished Pierce. Pierce is over and done.
Pierce is done.
Yep. I remember. So last time we spoke, I had watched The World Is Not Enough. I don't know. But Jesus, I remember not liking World Is Not Enough. I remember it not being a Bond film. When I first watched it back in 99, I was like, that wasn't James Bond. That was weird. And I was correct. That isn't a James Bond film. That film is shit. Don't watch The World Is Not Enough. It is probably the worst fucking James Bond film ever. And my God, like she's fresh off the set of Wild Things, but Denise Richards, my God, there's bad acting. There's bad acting. Then there's Denise Richards.
She's unfortunately just not an actress. I think that was clear. We tried really hard, guys. We all really wanted it to happen, but it just
exactly. Yeah. She gave it a go. She just didn't win.
No.
Whereas Die Another Day, on the other hand, which I remember liking.
No, are you about to tell me that? Are you about to tell me Die Another Day is a good Bond movie? Because I will not stand for it.
I love that everyone fucking hates this movie, and they should. I didn't like it. It's the lowest Bond film that I've rated. Did I rate this the same as World Is Not Enough? Yeah, they got the same.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was, it's not the start of it. Like, it has potential. That's the thing. It's not shit from start to finish.
Sure.
Like that start when what's his name gets all diamonds burst in his face, and there's the hovercraft chase and all that stuff. And it starts with Bond getting tortured by scorpions and a shitload of ice. You're like, oh my God, this, they're going to take it somewhere different. And then, my God, it just nosedives hardcore.
Yeah,
as soon
that's what
as
I remember as well.
Any form of storyline comes into it, it's not good. Not good. But yeah, Die Another Day. So it's on to Daniel Craig. And
how exciting.
The Bond film that I've watched the most.
Casino Royale.
Casino Royale.
Well, that'll be fun to rewatch it. We only watched that about 6 months ago, didn't we?
We did, yeah. And I love it. I'll
episode.
watch Casino Royale any day of the week.
That's still the only James Bond movie we've done, Nick.
That is.
Yeah.
And, I'm okay with that. After almost finishing, I've got 4 movies to go. Jesus.
That's pretty impressive.
Tyson, did you watch anything? Or shall I do... I'm going to talk about... Maybe I'll talk about two
another one
more.
If you like. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about a movie that has been on a list of mine for a very, very, very long time. It's been sitting up there. I ripped off... The price tag was still on it. I bought it in 2010. Yeah, 2010. And that's how long it's been sitting on my shelf, and I had not watched it. I am talking about Old Boy.
Oh, right.
The Park Chan-wook film, which I did not... I knew it was very adult, and I knew it was very, very violent, because whenever you hear of Old Boy, it's the shot of that actor with the hammer. So obviously there's violence with a hammer. Going in, I had no idea. I think a lot of people should see this film. I think this film is great. It's not a hard watch. I wouldn't say that. Like, I would say Irreversible is a lot higher.
Oh, yeah.
But this movie takes a revenge movie like John Wick. Take John Wick.
Yeah.
It takes something like John Wick and literally just flips it on its head. Mm-hmm. You're not going to know. I didn't know, like, the what happens in this film throughout the whole thing.
You managed to never find out what the twist is to Old Boy.
I've never found out. Do you know? Yeah.
100%.
No, I never found out. Never found out. It was not spoiled for me. This movie was made in 2003, I think, for those people.
Yeah, around then.
Yeah, and geez, my God.
That's impressive that you've managed to avoid any spoilers to do with that movie. Yeah, that's incredible.
So if you are listening to Nick Tys and Videotape right now and you don't know what Old Boy is, give it a watch.
Definitely give it a watch.
Yeah.
And then...
Have you seen this, Tys?
Yeah.
Old Boy? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Good movie. Really good. I didn't realize, like, it's kind of... There are moments in it where you really don't know where it's going. You're like, and those kind of movies are kind of hard to navigate. You're like, what are you trying to tell me? Give me something.
It really takes the whole movie before it comes into focus. It's one of those movies. Oh,
absolutely.
The final scenes, everything suddenly just clicks into place.
Just snaps.
Yeah. The last hour and a half suddenly is clear,
and that's
crystal
not to
clear.
Say that exactly. That's not to say that the movie isn't entertaining. There is
it's riveting.
Great stuff. Like that. The hallway shot of him fighting everyone in one shot, very Daredevil. Obviously, where Daredevil got it from, because this is much older. But Jesus, that was some fucking nice choreography.
It's not as
like sharp as something like The Raid or something like that.
But
still,
it feels
for its day.
It feels more kind of like it feels more realistic anyway. Like
massively
it's just
visceral.
a dude going to town on them with a hammer,
throwing shit at him like all the way through it. He keeps snapping those. What are they called? Kato sticks. You know those just fucking
the
sticks
training,
that look like swords.
The training swords. Yeah, kendo.
They go in.
Kendo?
Kendo. That's it. They go in at him with those, and he starts breaking them with his hammer. And while they're down, because he just cracks a knee. That's the thing. No one's getting up from a knee crack. From
No. You lie down.
You're not getting up from that. Anyway, so all these bad guys are basically on their knees or just whimpering, and they keep throwing the ends of the Kato sticks at him, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, stop it.
Yeah, that's not going to do much.
It's a fucking good movie. But yeah, it's a brutal ending, man. Like,
yeah.
Brutal.
Speaking of Charlotte Copley, he's in the remake of Old Boy.
Oh, is he? Because I'm a big fan of Spike Lee, and I've always stayed away because I need to watch the original first. That's very
well. Give it a watch and see what you think now. But I think it's got that remake disease that what was the most recent one that we talked about? The Omen. It's got that disease where it's just like you're watching it and you're like, you're not saying anything new at all. You're not
right.
There's no point to this existing. We can just carry on with our lives. Josh Brolin is an interesting choice, though, in that role. And I don't mind him. Shartho plays like the villain, I guess.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So knowing what you know.
I don't know how you would go. There are so many themes with this that are steeped in Asian culture. Like, you're not going to get away with it in a Western film. Like, it will make sense, but yeah, not really.
Yeah, they find ways.
There's
subtle changes here and there through it. Cool. But yeah, the main kind of crux of it, like the real terrible stuff, is all still in it.
Oh, right.
None of that changes.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. The other one that I wanted to mention was the other one that I've watched, been on my list for ages, and I've always wanted to see it, was 1982's The King of Comedy by Scorsese.
Oh, great. Never seen it.
Yeah. Jesus, that was a good movie as well.
I've heard. I really want to watch it.
Sam wants to watch it. When I told her a little bit, she went, whoa, stop. I'm going to watch this. Let's watch it. I was like, yeah, I'll watch it again. Fuck yeah.
Great.
And you can really see where Todd Phillips has got the idea of the Joker from. They're very, and I understand now because when the Joker came out, there was a lot of similarities, especially because De Niro's in both. Great movie. Jesus, I don't think I've ever seen De Niro in this role before. I don't think I've ever seen him this vulnerable ever.
Okay, yeah, right.
Like, it's always, you see Robert De Niro and he's always going to hit you. Do you know what I mean? There's no nice Robert De Niro. He's always in charge. He always knows what he's doing. This one, he's so insecure and so off the wall crazy that you're like, oh, this is fucking scary. And it sits with you and it's really unsettling. It's just, the person that's staring at you on the train and they're not looking away to the point where you have to move.
Right.
And at that point they follow you and you're like, oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, they're the best kind of people.
Yeah. It's really, really fucking awkward. And
right. And Jerry Lewis as well?
Jerry Lewis, man, shit. He's in a role that you haven't seen him in before. Well, for me anyway, because Jerry Lewis is Jerry Lewis. You know, he's funny. He's fucking doing...
He's the nutty professor.
The man with the rubber face before Jim Carrey was Jim Carrey.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he's fucking amazing. And in this movie, Jerry Lewis is a prick. He's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, right.
And he's great at it. He's fucking spot on. So good. And I loved in reading what they did, because Scorsese doesn't actually like this, or he doesn't not like it. He just didn't think he should make it. It's not a big fan of his. De Niro loves it. A lot of people love it. A lot of people.
It gets brought up a lot as like the underrated Scorsese, the movie that people like. If you had to pick one, what would it be? This is a lot of people's.
Seriously. But a lot of the ideas that the obsession, because it's about De Niro, if for those people who don't know, De Niro, it's very similar to that of the Joker, just without the insane element of the Joker.
Yeah.
So it is very much Robert De Niro's character is obsessed with this TV personality to the point where he follows him around. He knows where he eats. He knows where he sleeps, all that stuff. And he takes things to very great lengths to try and get his attention. That's all I'll tell you, because if you're going to see it, I don't want to spoil it. But a lot of the things that happens with Jerry Lewis's character are stories from Jerry Lewis's life. Like there's one moment where Jerry Lewis is of crossing the road. Yeah. And this woman is on a payphone, and there's so many payphones in this movie. Fuck, I love payphone.
Good old fashioned payphones.
I'm gonna watch Phone Booth just for fucking. There's a woman on a phone booth, and he goes to walk past her, and she goes, hey, hi, I'm a big fan. Oh my god, you're so amazing. And he goes, oh, well, thank you, that's so nice of you, thank you. And he says, oh, would you mind just talking to my I think it's a cousin or something that's on the phone, just say hi. And he goes, look, I don't have time, I have to walk. And as soon as he says, look, I don't, she goes, oh, we'll fucking get cancer then, you stupid cunt. And I'm like, whoa, sorry, I should have sworn. But yeah, Tyson can bleep that. But yeah, like she turns on a dime and like really severely attacks him. And it's so out of the blue. And that actually happened to Jerry Lewis. And I was like, Jesus, that's quite scary. Like the ugly side of fame, I'm always a big fan of seeing that.
Just watch The Fan. Speaking of De Niro.
Oh, De Niro. I actually really like The Fan.
Oh man, I'd have to watch like that. That is deep in the recesses of my brain. That movie from 1994.
What was the Fred Durst?
The Fanatic.
John Travolta. The Fanatic. I think we should do a double feature, Tyson. The Fan and The Fanatic.
The Fan Fanatic. I like it.
Tell me I'm not wrong.
Why don't we watch them both at the same time?
Look, I'm going to make it happen.
We can figure out a way with two TVs.
Exactly. Other than that, I've watched a shitload, but I'm not going to mention them because I think we're done, Tys. Unless you've watched something.
Yeah. I've got a couple of things. Well, I've got a couple that I haven't mentioned for a while. Oh yeah.
Cool.
I watched for the first time a couple of first time watches that I've been meaning to get around to forever. I watched The Last of the Mohicans, Michael Mann, Daniel Day-Lewis. Which I really enjoyed. This is it's technically not the first time I watched it because I tried to watch it once before and was not into it. Like this was years ago, and I was like, I got about 20 minutes in and went, I am not in the mood for this. And this time I was like, no, I'm sticking it out. And I did have a similar feeling about 15 minutes into it that I think it just maybe. I feel like it just has a little bit of trouble getting off the starting blocks, this movie. But once it's kicking, it is incredible. God, it's so good. Right. And it doesn't feel like there are Michael Mann-isms to it for sure. Like just the, the way he shoots.
Is it Michael Mann?
Yeah.
Oh,
he shoots he shoots these battle scenes quite intimately, and they feel kind of they feel very realistic. But then he also shoots these big, like sweeping kind of like, full American vistas, and you're like, well, that's not Michael Mann. Like, that's not his bag at all. Yet it's beautiful to look at. Like, and so it's a real mixture of his styles, like of his prominent style, his handheld kind of in your face realism, mixed with this kind of old school classic Hollywood vibe, where it kind of feels like it could be made in the 50s or 60s. So it's really quite great, and the Day-Lewis is incredible in it as expected. There's some gnarly violence in it, like some of it, lots of scalpings and things like that, and they're not shying away from they're getting down and dirty with it.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's really quite an enjoyable film, and one of those ones that kind of just slipped through the cracks because I thought it might have been a bit lame. But
But everyone raves about Last of the Mohicans. I think I watched it too young, to be honed, because I watched it when I was still at the video store.
Yeah, sure.
I was like, Last of the Mohicans, watch that, and I was like, this is shit. I think I need to watch it again.
It's not the movie that you expect it to be. I think. I think. It's 92, so it's pre Braveheart and Rob Roy and stuff like that. But in my head, I kind of lumped them all together. But it's a bit more. It's not as grand Hollywood blockbuster as that. Right. It feels intimate. It feels like
didn't know it was Michael.
A little bit more political. And there's a little bit more reverence for Native American culture as well throughout it. Which is So I'm a big fan of it. I thought it was really great. The other one that I watched for the first time was Paul Thomas Anderson's first movie called Hard 8. Have you ever seen this?
I saw you clock this. I've never heard of Hard 8.
Right.
Like, ever.
There you go.
Yeah.
I knew it was his first movie, but I just never gotten around to see it. There used to be remember Real DVD back in the JB Hi-Fi days?
Yeah.
Yeah, Real DVD had a $6.98 copy of this.
Okay.
And I remember always seeing it and being like, I should just grab it. It's only $6.98 and whatever that cost us, $5 or whatever. Usually what was cost price on those? Like $4.80 or something?
$4.90. Yeah, and then if you got it on a 20% off, you got a movie for $2.
Yeah, you were paying nothing. So I've been meaning to watch it forever. And it's funny that we had similar stories in that you ended up watching Kingdom of Comedy again with Sam.
Yeah.
I watched the first half an hour or so of Hard 8.
Yeah.
And then Rachel was in and out and she came and sat down and watched one scene and went, how long has this been playing for? And I was like, half an hour. And she's like, this is...
Turn off.
I really want to watch this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And I was like,
cool.
well, we'll watch it again.
Yeah.
We can watch it again. And then I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to go do stuff for half an hour. You start and I'll come back because I'd rather watch the rest of it now with you than to like have you sit there and try and not get the full experience of watching it from beginning to end. And so I just went, I went and did a bit of stuff for half an hour and came back and then watched it from there. Because it is one of those movies, you put it on and then all of a sudden you're just like, well, I'm enthralled. I'm in this.
Right.
He has a way... I really like Paul Thomas Anderson. It's just, I think it's taken me a while, but it's clicked for me now. I dig him. He gets what I'm about.
I'm not there. I want to be. I want to be so hard.
Yeah.
But it's still like everyone raves about him, especially with There Will Be Blood. Like I'm the only one who doesn't like There Will Be Blood, and it hurts my face that I don't like it.
The only film I wasn't mad about is The Master. I didn't love The Master. And I felt like the things that I hear people criticize him for, I saw in The Master, where I don't see them in his other films.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Because you raved about Phantom Thread.
Phantom Thread is the bomb. So I'm really enjoying his stuff. His dialogue is it's this really perfect mix of theatrical and realistic. It just has this flavor to it that I just love. And he just puts really good actors in a room and lets them talk. Very Tarantino-esque. And you just find yourself absolutely enthralled by it. So, while you can still see that it's his first film, he's working some stuff out. There's some the narrative. There's some little speed bumps on the way that it's not as smooth as you'd want it to be, but it's so watchable, and really, really entertaining. And you can see the seeds of his later films planted in it for sure. So, and it's just on Stan if you want to watch it. So I would definitely recommend it. Yeah, Hard 8.
Okay. How have I never heard of Hard 8?
Well, it never really no one gave two shits about it. I know,
but it's not as if it's a small cast. This thing is huge.
Oh yeah. Oh, and speaking of the cast, because I didn't mention Philip Baker Hall. This performance is out of this world good. He's so good in it.
Yeah, right.
And shout out to Gwyneth Paltrow as well, who has really kind of jumped up in the last couple of months for me, because I've seen a few things with her in it and she's been excellent in all of them. And I'm like, I think I might have been missed the boat on Gwyneth. I think I used to think she was just kind of fine, but I'm really coming around on her.
Nice.
So definitely recommend Hard 8.
Hard 8. I like it. I'm going to give it a watch.
I think that's going to wrap us, Nick.
I think that's it, Tys.
Do you want to remind the people at home where they can find our little show?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you got this far through this episode, good Lord, thank you so much. I do apologise again for the C-bomb. I'm sure Tyson will bleep that out. But if you have enjoyed what you've listened to, my goodness, you are clearly fans. And if you are fans, then thank you from the bottom of Tyson and mine's heart. Other than that, if this is your first listen, by all means, hit that subscribe button. Now is the time, because I'm just going to ramble on about where else you can rate, review, like, subscribe, and all those other things. So just flick up to the top of the screen, hit that like, subscribe. I'm guessing. It's a guess that it's at the top. Other than that, Tyson and myself are on all the social medias, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can look up Nick Tys and Videotape on all of those mediums. We're also on YouTube. We do have an email account, which is nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com. And Tyson and myself are big fans of Letterboxd. So if you want to know, and I always like to say this, what we rated District 9.
We
don't mention it on the show. You'll have to follow us on Letterboxd.
I mean, it's pretty clear that it would be quite high, I think.
It's quite high. Yes,
it is quite high.
But is it an 8? Is it a 9? Or is it a 10, Tyson?
Ooh.
Is it a 10? Is it a 10?
Yeah,
see,
there
you
work
go.
pretty hard to be a 10.
There you go. You got to be very, exactly. So if you wish to follow Tys is TYS_videotape, and myself is NIC_videotape. Tys, do we know what we're doing next week?
Yes, we do, Nick.
Oh, what are we doing?
Next week we are going to go full crazy Academy Award winning historical epic.
Oh,
I got I whet my whistle with Last of the Mohicans, and I think I'm ready for another one. So we are going to the grand old year of 1995, I want to say. I suppose I should double check, huh?
No, 6 was 8, it was 4, I'm guessing.
1995. The grand old year of 1995, and we are going to be talking about Mel Gibson's Braveheart.
Oh, I like it. God, I like Braveheart.
You may take our lives, but you will never take our podcasts. And I'm very excited to... It's been a while since I've seen this movie, Nick. I'm pretty keen.
It's been a while?
Yeah, because I love watching Braveheart. It's like a...
It's so funny when I want an epic... If I don't want sci-fi, like you either go Lord of the Rings, but I don't go Gladiator. I always go Braveheart.
Yeah, there's something really warm and comforting about Braveheart. I don't know what it is. I think it was just right at that perfect time for me when I was like discovering these kinds of movies as a 14-year-old, 13, 14-year-old. And being like this, I've been watching this for 3 hours and I love it sick, because usually I'd watch movies that go for barely 90 minutes. And so,
and this was after Prince of Thieves, wasn't it? Was this after
this
Prince
a couple
of
of years after Prince of Thieves.
Yeah. So everyone was on the bandwagon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I'm very keen to talk about this, Nick. It's going to be a barrel of laughs.
I like it.
But we will see you then.
We'll see you then, peeps.
All right, buddy.
Bye, Tys. Bye.
See you, Nick. Bye.